How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if this is the first video you're watching. It's going to be week 13 of my NFL power rankings. You know, week 12's in the books, week 13's upon us, and it's pretty simple. We're going to rank them. We'll start off with number 10, and we got a new addition to the list. We got the Green Bay Packers. The Packers have not yet made an appearance on this list because I started doing it a few weeks ago, and they were reeling a little bit, but they've had two good wins. They beat the Vikings by a lot. They made J.J. McCarthy very uncomfortable. And the week before that, they were able to take care of business against the Giants. So that earned the Packers a spot in the top 10 because they're playing a lot better. And yeah, I have them at number 10. All right, and at number 9, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were at number 10 last week. I'm bumping them up one because they were able to knock off the Arizona Cardinals. It required them going to overtime, but the old saying is a win's a win, and they had a really good win the week prior when they were able to take care of the Chargers and absolutely dismantle them. So they've earned their spot on the list, and they were able to win this week, and yeah, able to maintain their winning ways, and we'll see if they can steal the division away from the Indianapolis Colts, and I have them at number 9. All right, and at number 8, we have the San Francisco 49ers. I'm bumping them up one. They were able to take care of the Panthers on Monday Night Football. Definitely not the cleanest game from Brock Purdy. There were a lot of turnovers in the game, but they were able to win, and they were able to win pretty convincingly. The score was like 20-9 or something like that. So good for the 49ers for just taking care of a team they should have beat. And they did just that. They're able to keep pace with the Seahawks and Rams, and we'll see if they can find their way into the playoffs. And, you know, you never know from there. This team's dealt with a lot of shit this year, but they're very resilient, and it's honestly pretty impressive that they're sitting at 8-4, but that's where they're at. And yeah, good for them, and they sit at number 8. All right, sitting at number 7, we have the Chicago Bears. They were able to beat the Steelers this week in a game that Aaron Rodgers was not playing, which was probably a big reason they were able to win, but you know, the Bears, I still was pretty impressed with them because they were able to beat the Steelers despite not playing their greatest game on offense. They actually had a turnover that resulted in the Steelers getting 7 free points pretty much. But they were able to overcome that and still win the game, so good on the Bears for doing that. I mean, they're not the cleanest victories and they're not the strongest of opponents, but you can only play who you play. You can't control who you play, and the Bears, they can control if they win, and they've been doing just that as they sit at 8-3 atop the NFC North, and they have a really big game on Black Friday against the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's going to be a really telling game. We'll see how that goes for them, but as for right now, they're at number 7. All right, sitting at number 6, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. They went down a spot, and they lost to the Cowboys, and not only did they lose to the Cowboys, they blew a 21-point lead against the Cowboys. That was pretty rough for Eagles fans to watch, and it's a bit concerning because, you know, at the beginning of the game, in the early second quarter, they were up 21-0. The offense looked unstoppable, and the defense was getting after the Cowboys like they couldn't be stopped. And then over the course of the rest of the game, the defense was stopped, and the offense of the Eagles was also stopped. They stalled out, and you can't do that. You can't do what they did. And the Eagles are still a great roster, but it's definitely a bit concerning that they lost that game. But they're still a good team, and we'll see if they can rebound against the Chicago Bears on Black Friday. But for now, they sit at number 6. All right, sitting at number 5, we have the Indianapolis Colts, and this is not a good week for the Colts. They lost to the Chiefs, the Jags won, the Texans won, and that's not good because those two teams, they're creeping up in the division, and I don't think the Colts are going to blow the division lead, but the fact that it's close at this point in time is a bit concerning, but we'll see how they play. You know, this was another team that kind of was a bit concerning. They were up 20-9 against the Chiefs, I believe, heading into the fourth quarter. and the Chiefs were able to come back and kick a field goal to send the game to overtime. Then they won the game, and the Chiefs won the game in overtime with a game-winning field goal. And, this is just one that I feel like the Colts just let slip away. And I think the biggest problem is they need to try and run the ball a little more, because they didn't run the ball at all against the Chiefs, which was definitely confusing. But we'll see how they play next week. They play the Houston Texans next week, and the Texans are playing really well. And we'll see how that game goes. But for right now, I have the Colts sitting at number 5. All right, sitting at number 4, we have the Seattle Seahawks. They're going up 3 spots. And it's not even because of how they won. I mean, they beat the Titans, and the game got a little close at the end, but, the end result was never really in question. I mean, you kind of knew the Seahawks are going to win, and the Titans were honestly more window dressing than anything, because they dominated the first part of that game, and Jackson Smith-Njigba is a big reason for that. And he's been one of the best players this season, and for good reason. He's been putting up a bunch of yards, and he actually has the most receiving yards for a Seahawk in NFL history from this season. And it's week 12. That was week 12, so good for him for doing that. And, they didn't beat the greatest opponent, but the thing is they still won, and a lot of good teams lost. So I guess by that logic, it bumps them up. So congrats to Seahawks fans. They're sitting at number 4. All right, sitting at number 3, we have the Denver Broncos. They're going down 1, and they didn't lose, so that's good. They had a bye week, and it was an all right bye week, I would say. The Colts lost. Granted, it was to the Chiefs. It was one of the few times where a Broncos fan had to root for the Chiefs, but they did it. It's over. Hopefully we never have to do that again. And the Colts got dropped down to the 3 seed. And we dropped down to the 2 seed because the Patriots, they played and we didn't. I mean, it was just an unlucky chain of events, I guess. And also the Patriots' schedule is extremely easy right now. So we'll see if we can steal the 1 seed back from them. But, it's going to be a tough road ahead of us because our schedule is a lot tougher than theirs. But, I can't complain. We didn't lose. We won 8 in a row. The Colts lost. And, we're sitting at 3, and we'll see how we play next week against the Washington Commanders. All right, sitting at number 2, we have the New England Patriots. And it's actually kind of crazy. They've won 9 in a row. They won this week, and I still have to drop them 1. And the reason for that is because the team in front of them absolutely dominated their competition, and they deserve the number 1. But another reason, they looked really sketchy in that win against the Bengals, and I'm no stranger to sketchy wins. I'm a Broncos fan. We've been doing that all season, but, the Bengals, they didn't have Joe Burrow, obviously, because he's still injured. Jamar Chase got suspended for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. He was suspended for that 1 game. T. Higgins went down in the game, and, the Patriots still made it a lot closer than it should have been. And the Bengals had a genuine chance to win, too. And, I mean, their defense, to their credit, the Bengals' defense has been playing better, but it's still not a good unit. The Patriots should have had no trouble against the Bengals. And, I mean, good on them for winning and not choking, but, I can't put them at 1 because that wasn't the greatest performance, but you're at 2 and you're the 1 seed. And finally, at number 1, we got a new number 1. It's the Los Angeles Rams. They're the other 1 seed in the NFC. They went up 2 spots after dominating the Bucs. And they were on Sunday Night Football, and I will acknowledge that Baker Mayfield did get injured at halftime, but to be completely honest, that did not change the fact that the Rams won. It wasn't like him getting injured cost them the game. They already were up 31-7 at halftime. And that game was just truly belt to ass, and the Rams had full control of that game. Matthew Stafford looked unbelievable, as always, and he's my personal MVP right now. And the Rams, honestly, I think they're the best team in the NFL, and they've just been playing better. They technically don't have the best record, but I don't think it matters. I think record can kind of skew how some people think of certain teams. But I personally think the Rams are at 1, and they're playing great right now. And if they keep this up, I honestly think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I think they're a really damn good team, and I'm excited to watch them play. They're a fun team to watch. And that's going to do it for my power rankings. Here's all of them next up to each other in the order that I had them in. And yeah, I had Rams 1, Pats 2, Broncos 3, Seahawks 4, Colts 5, Eagles 6, Bears 7, 49ers 8, Jags 9, Packers 10. And, you know, there's a couple teams I wish I could have included. Honestly, the Texans. I really wanted to include them, but there just wasn't a spot for them. They're playing really well. They should be on here. Definitely an honorable mention. I was going to consider putting the Ravens on here. They've won 5 in a row. They're rolling right now, but they didn't have the greatest games, hence why I put the Packers at 10 over those two teams. And, you know, there's probably other teams I can't think of off the top of my head that need to be included, but they just can't. The Lions, they had a good bounce-back win against the Giants, and it wasn't pretty, but, you know, they did win. But at the same time, they also lost the last game against the Eagles, so it's kind of hard to put them. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video, and if you're still watching, I appreciate you for watching, and it's going to be a little different this week. I'm going to be doing my NFL predictions tomorrow on Wednesday because there's 3 Thursday games because, you know, it's Thanksgiving, and there's a Friday game. So I figure I'll upload it a day earlier, which will be tomorrow, and yeah, if you're wanting to watch that, you'll be receiving that in a few, like 12 or so hours, you know, tomorrow. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. It's a little long, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.